Quick question for everybody. Are you hopeful Guyana can emerge from this dark forest before it becomes a pandemic?
I'm optimistic.
I'm hopeful. I had this question when we started our HIV in Guyana, and as people were dying because it's a death sentence, and I was hopeful then. And so I'm hopeful now. I was saying earlier that the same way we tackle HIV, we can, and when we tackle HIV, we're starting to talk about it on the ground. Going into communities, we wait on government. As a matter of fact, when the first set of funding came from the USA to do HIV work in Guyana, government said go to civil society at the time. And so we were the first people who had brought together 6 non-government organizations to start the Ghana HIV/AIDS STI Youth Project, and we started to use it in schools, out of school youth, minibus drivers and conductors, where the young people were lying in that kind of thing. And so I think we can tweak that because it has been successful. We are the great place where HIV/AIDS is concerned in Ghana. And I'm sure that we can use or piggyback or some, if not all, of what we did for that and do it for suicide. So I'm very hopeful.
Charmin?
I'm going to be the Debbie Downer. I am not 100% hopeful. Why? Because this is not a new problem. Suicide has been a problem within the Guyanese society for a very long time. And it became an epidemic because of neglect. I would become hopeful when I see let me just piggyback. The Minister of Education has formed a group, put together a group of professionals, and he has given them a 3-month and with a mandate to develop suicide prevention, and this would be introduced into the school. Upon viewing that document, my hopes might increase. But because of the lack of education, the desensitization, and the stigma and the taboo that is still there, it's difficult for me to say I am hopeful. But, hold on. But if Desiree can bring together all the NGOs and tackle this epidemic by being a group and not individual pockets, it can be extremely impacting, and I think it could even eradicate this problem.
I live in Guyana and I have to be hopeful. And I say that because I know that suicide has always been around. It's been around for some time. Well, there was not so much talk about it. We used to say it's a certain group of people that it affects, and not all of us. But now we're seeing that it's all of us. And so everyone is talking about it now. And that makes me hopeful. That in itself makes me hope. That's where most of us, when we start to talk about stuff, then we start to do. We talk, we plan, we do. And so that is my hope. And I have to have that hope. Oh my God, can you imagine if this continues and gets worse, what's going to happen to our children, our sisters, like the doctor said earlier, our brothers, our neighbors? And so what is happening now that didn't happen before is all this talk. Look at us. Sunday afternoon, maybe we should be having some fun. We're sitting here talking about suicide. That is hopeful for me. Thank you, ladies, for being here. That is hopeful. Come on, work with me, girl. Be hopeful.
Dr. Rodney, you want to say something?
You know, I'm very encouraged and I'm enthused by the energy that right now permeates this discussion table. And I agree with the last speaker, the speaker before the last one. I understand that in some situations we are working through the resistance, and sometimes that's what it takes. I'm hopeful because this discussion, I can feel the energy and there's a spark that can ignite the fire. I'm also looking at the rippling effects, and this rippling effects can spread to leaps and bounds. So, to my fellow Guyanese, you're not alone. We're all in this struggle together. It's our passion. And I don't know about you, but there's nothing else that I know than to understand I might not save everyone. But if I save one, it's good enough.
Awesome. Again, next steps. Well, let me rephrase that and ask this particular question. We have had several conversations, several deep conversations. We've had a variety of people are connected in various ways to suicide. And here we are today, the fifth week, the fifth part of the 5-part series. What does each of you think we might have started here? We threw a pebble into the still lake and it created ripples. What are some of you seeing? What are some of those ripples you are seeing? Desiree, you have the camera. You want to take a shot at this?
I want to say that more people are talking about this on the internet. Nora is a member of a group that I usually go in there and read a lot of what she says. And I share it with some of my friends. Thank you, my dear, for being involved. But people are talking. There are a lot of groups. People are saying, "Oh, we got too many groups," and there can never be too many groups because the more groups you have, the more people you have talking about it. And so I think even what we're doing here, like there are people in the chat room asking questions, and so people are thinking. People want to know what is happening. People want to be involved. People call and say, "If I can do anything, let me know." And I want to do stuff through the arts. I want people to write their stories. To share why am I depressed? Why am I in this? And earlier there was talk of people thinking that mental health is if you're mad. Because as soon as I talk to them, like in Myanmar, I don't need mental health education. No, nothing wrong with me. And so we really have to change that. We have to understand it's mental health. It's not only the bad people on the streets. You and I, people have issues and they can't deal with it. And then they just tune out and they say, "Look, I can't handle this anymore." And so that is something that really, really has to change. That attitude or that feeling that once you hear mental health, it's mad people talk about it, so I'm not from that category, so I don't need to have the information on it. And this is going to continue. And I hope you do continue talking about this. You can't stop selling. This is a forum where people listen, people hear views, people want to share their views. And I think that we should continue talking until we get some structured program on the ground. This is a way of talking about suicide, and I think that is what the program is going to do. Make it talk more.
Thank you. Norca, you want to take a stab at this?
Actually, as I told you, I'm extremely grateful that you have the program. It brought home to a lot of people who didn't understand exactly what was happening. You listen to the news, and some of the descriptions of what has occurred is very gross and horrific. And it's like, oh, it's only them it's happening to. Folks need to see a face, need to understand, hear a voice. There needs to be a connection. And one of the things I tried to do in the first segment is equate this with pain, and I think most people got it. Because after that interview with you, my phone had not stopped buzzing. And I was grateful that you had this conversation. And like Deborah said, I'm going to beg you for one more. I'm going to beg for one more. No, I'm going to beg for one more in the sense that please ask somebody from the Ministry of Health, Education, or Social, even the tourism minister. She may not believe that she has a part of this, but she really does. The image of Guyana is all of us. If you want people to come here, you got to get rid of this shadow. I'm not saying it's going to go away completely, but you can curb it so it becomes minuscule.
Before I bring Charmaine on to make her point, two things I want to do. In the chat room, GHSP, I don't know why this person's giving me a tongue twister. GHSP said, "Love your attitude, Desiree," 5 exclamation marks. Let's put out a message here tonight. Somebody, all of us, one of us, somebody who have access to the Minister of Health, I will do one more series, one more part.
Yes.
right? If you can get the Minister of Health, because anyway,
Okay, so I have access to the head of the National AIDS program in Ghana, Dr. Shanti Singh, who has access to the Minister of Health.
let's bring him on. Let's bring the Minister of Health on. I will definitely make the space and the time. And Dr. Rodney in the chat room, someone's Dr. Rodney, maybe you can initialize, I guess, a training on motivational interviewing. I want to make an announcement here tonight. And the announcement is that I know this is a very sensitive topic. Sensitive, very, very sensitive topic, but a conversation must happen. Guyana is on an upswing, economic upswing. We don't know, we are not sure how imminent, how soon we're going to see great results of it, or how late. But we know studies are showing, the World Bank and so on, showing studies that Guyana is on an upswing. With that comes repatriation. However, there is this tension, suspicion between the two communities, two very important communities, critical to the development of Guyana, the diaspora and the homeland community. I want to ask the question, is it real or imagined? Whatever it is, let us have this conversation. Next week is scheduled to be the beginning of this conversation. We have to talk about this in a very cogent way, in a very respectful way. I was very happy and very encouraged to see that pre and post elections, Guyanese of all ethnicity, all religions, and so on, were engaging each other. Whether it's the GAF, whether it's to have discussions, wranglings, whatever it was, but there was some engagement. The diaspora and at home have huge reservoirs of very intelligent, very gifted, very talented people. And we need to identify these linkages. We need to build corridors to these various reservoirs so that our country can benefit. It's country first. We cannot afford, Guyana cannot afford, our population is too small, cannot afford not to have all hands on deck. When there's a storm, everyone, even the cook, everyone has to do his or her part. And so we have to find a way to create the conditions to allow people to come to the center, to come to this virtual village square and have a conversation without fear of retribution or recrimination. It is very important that we respect each other and have this kind of conversation, egos aside, for the benefit of our country. We can feed clothes and house ourselves. We can develop Guyana. There's a new sense of nationalism permeating throughout the diaspora and home. And we have to capitalize on that. So I'm offering this platform. Next week we're going to start this. Anyway, that said, we get the Minister of Health to agree to come on this program and talk about the suicide epidemic. I will make the platform available. Desiree, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Norca Carter, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Charmin, Charmin, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for affording us this opportunity.
You're welcome.
You. Have a wonderful evening. Really great being here with you.
You're welcome. And Dr. Rodney, thank you for coming over. The fact that we were able to put technology together to have this kind of layered conversation, man, it's plus. As we talk about hopefulness, this is hope.
Yes.
This is hope. Imagine being able to do this.
Yeah, it's exciting, right?
Not only that, to have you, all of you, or each of you, as Desiree mentioned, on Sunday afternoon, come sit down and talk about suicide epidemic.
There's hope.
It shows patriotism to me.
Yeah.
It shows compassion to me. So I am hopeful.
Yes.
I am optimistic. Anybody has anything to say, Charmin? You want to take the floor?
I just want to say that Desiree, I actually placed something an onus, and I know it's a great responsibility I placed in your hand, and I am also trying to do the same here. Myself and Tracy Carter and Sean McDonald is about to get a linkage with the Black Psychologists Association here, and we are trying to put together a group so that we can support you and whomever is willing to join you in Guyana. So you're not there alone. I just want to assure you that you have a group here that is willing to do whatever it takes so that I can become more hopeful.
You think me more hope and you're not hopeful. You gotta be hopeful. That I'm not alone. We don't have a group. We formed ourselves into a group out of the work, the NGOs that were doing the work in HIV and AIDS in Guyana. And we just got funding from the USA to register and form ourselves into a group, and I'm going to take you up on that.
Okay.
Awesome. In the chat room quickly, GHSP said, great job panel. As a Guyanese living outside of Guyana for several years, I am cautiously optimistic in returning to Guyana to offer my assistance. Can you discuss processes that can be put in place to ease this transition? Well, yes, GHS, I am going to get you for this. GHSP, we are going to start this conversation. We're going to go deep and we're going to go wide. So tune in from next week and let us have a village square gathering. Dr. Rodney, anything you want to say before we close off?
Actually, I want to thank you for accommodating us.
You're welcome.
I think that was very well accommodative. I also want to join with you in putting out the challenge not only to have the Minister of Health, but also to have the Minister of Education. And being a counselor at heart, I mean, the cyber bullying that's coming out of Guyana, which stems from emotional and psychological disorders. I think that we need to target our school population, and I'm very concerned about that. So I also want to throw that challenge out. I also want to commend the other members of the staff, and I must say to you that I am really thrilled by you being that vocal, because that's what it takes to move the system along. So you guys need to be complimented.
Thank you, Dr. Rodney. Thank you, Desiree Jill. Thank you, Norca Carter. Thank you, Charmin Prince. And thanks to all the other guests that made this conversation so multidimensional, so rich. Mosa and Sarah Barrett. Come on, guys, help me out here. I am forgetting.
Dr. Nat.
Sorry?
Dr.
Dr. Natalie Caldera, right? Very, very important. Anybody I forgot, please forgive me, but we made it happen. And thank you.
Not for this whole idea to discuss suicide. Thank you so much.
Yes.
You're welcome. Good evening. Norca, I know you can't wait to go and tune into the Super Bowl.
The blue bag, the blue.
All right, so guys, let me know what the minister says, the ministers say, and we will make it happen.
Sure.
Good night.
Everybody call the minister, call the minister, call the minister. Don't care who it is. Just call them. Call them all. Call them all. Let's make that arrow shine again. Call them all.
The golden arrow, right?
Yes, call them. Everybody call them. Everybody send an email. Not that bad. Thank you again.
You guys may get into trouble for this.
Thank you, Norca, and thank you, Desiree.
You're welcome.
I'll take the trouble. I will take the trouble.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Late at night, I wander through so many
You do this all the
places.
time. What was this like? This session. I mean, you do this all the time, but what's your impression of this session?
Excellent.
With nothing but happy
Excellent.
faces.
We had people engaged.
Right.
We got to discuss a very sensitive, very important problem that is happening in our native land. And we got to do so
Lost in my
respectfully.
world,
Beautiful.
I meet
Yeah,
friends
yeah.
from another life.
That to me is always very important. When people can
Walking
have
in all
discourse,
directions,
conversation, even disagreement, but
knowing we
respectful.
all look
Yeah.
alike.
So yes, I'm ready.
I mean, that is important because as the host, you want to make sure that your end game is what you set out,
Yes.
you know, and that is important. Well, let me thank you very much. I'm glad I was able to make it over.
I'm
And that shows you how important this means to me.